folks, welcome back. It's spring. The ground is showing, like there's ground everywhere, and the pigs have torn up their pen pretty bad. So what that means is that it's time for me to move them into this back field, and I think I can get back there without my snowshoes. I think the snow has melted enough. And you want to see some neat bits? This is, remember I told you there was a pond forming underneath underneath the snow? Well, there it is. This is all meltwater mostly from my property. The neighbor drains a little bit up here, but not a lot. Coming down. And forming the duck's favorite thing, a pond. Look at that. And if you look up here, this is, a whole field of snow. It's just pouring off this field. Look at it. That's just all coming right off the field. Isn't that amazing? How much water is coming off that field. I mean, granted, we've lost like a foot of snow in 2 days. Okay, so let's take a walk along the fence and see what we think of it for pigs. I'd like to actually install a fence right across here so the pigs can't get into this very wet area because they will mess it up real fast. I mean, the geese will mess it up a little bit, but the pigs will really mess it up. I don't want it to be just a whole bunch of raw soil. I want it to have some intact vegetation there. This tree fell over last winter. If you look inside this tree, it's really cool actually. There were ants in it. You see that? See how they had just like completely tunneled through it? That's why it fell over. Because there wasn't much left. So. Oh, look at all this ground. Actually being able to walk on the ground is amazing. It's amazing. So, take the fence line kind of like across here. Assuming that the ground is thawed enough in order to take the fence posts. I pound the fence posts in. It's much harder when the ground is frozen, but the ground is feeling really soft under my feet. And I guess we'll figure it out. We'll see whether it's a problem or not. Oh yeah, it's like barely any snow. This is amazing. Let's see how long. Oh, more snow here. Deeper. But still, I can pound fence posts in this. I don't need a whole big setup. Ooh. So these are, the person who lived here before had pigs in these back pens. And so I know that those, at least 2 years ago, could hold pigs in. Whew. Almost there. Walking. If you ever want some real good exercise, walk through deep snow. See, there's my footprints. Okay, so these boards look good. A pig won't go through there. These boards are on the inside, so a pig could push them off, assuming that they're just put on with nails. And looks like they are just put on with nails. So the best thing to do is always to run electric wire on the inside. Just a single wire on the inside of the fence to keep the pigs from messing with it. The piglets used to be able to go through this kind of wire, but none of the pigs will be able to now. But again, I need to put electric outside of it, I think. A bunch of this. I put this electric on the top of the fence for the bear last year. Try and keep the bear out of my chicken feed, which only kind of worked. There's a lot of this kind of fencing here, field fence. This is the neighbor's house. They asked if I'd not keep pigs in here because it is right by their house. So I'm gonna try and put an orchard in there or something. I might put the pigs in there to dig it up for me, just for a little bit so they don't get stinky. This fence is questionable. I mean, I think if there was a electric, the pigs wouldn't bother it. It's just enough of a visual barrier. Oh, it's pretty firm, actually. Like, if I try and move it, it doesn't move. It's just not very straight up and down at all. Huh. Solid, but leaning. And then this fence is, again, super questionable. The wire fence is on the other side, so the pigs would just be able to push it right off. And they'd be able to go under that bottom board. They would just dig right under there. So I would want to put wire on this side of the fence. I might be able to get away with just electric to reinforce it. Yeah, this is just like, there's nothing there. There's a couple boards, a couple strands of barbed wire. I mean, a big pig wouldn't be able to get through, but a big pig, if it scratched itself on there, which it would definitely do, would just take those boards right off. Had a big burning pile there that we burned last fall. There's a bunch of junk left from the folks who used to have this house. And here you can see I started putting up electric around the outside of this fence. These are the electric ones. They have a little bit of a neck so that the electric wire isn't touching the wire, because that would ground it out and then it wouldn't give the shock that we needed it to give. But yeah, like, this fence is hardly even still a fence. It pretty much needs to just, like, I can use these posts, but I need to come along the side and run fence wire. I'm like tracing through the roses here. They're a little bit prickly. Oh, water. So neat. There's so many features of the landscape. They're here at this time. They're not here at any other time. Okay. So, wire along the fence with the neighbors. I'm sure they do not want pigs in their garden. I would not be very thrilled if some neighbors' pigs came and ate my garden. So, handle that. This fence is, you know, it looks pretty solid, but putting wire along it wouldn't hurt, and it would be really easy right now. And then that takes us right back down here. So I pretty much need to add wire fencing to everything except that one back section. It's going to be a busy weekend. I might temporarily put the pigs up in here, but I would need to make a couple shelters for them. They've already got under this fence. They've dug under it. I was going to fix the fence. See if I can show you here. See how like they're downslope? They just walk right under there. The big pigs can't get under yet. For instance, are you Rapunzel or Sparky? Sparky. He can't get under yet. But soon, we'll just have to keep digging. Yes, like it's a mess down there. Great for plants now because they've destroyed the turf, which was my goal. Great for putting my hascap berries there. And great for putting my field crops there. But not good for the pigs to spend their time walking in anymore. So I can disassemble these A-frames. It'll take a little bit of time. Move them up here. And honestly, if I put them over top of these hay bales, the pigs will probably just knock the hay bales down and I won't have to do too much. I think I'll do, maybe do that. Have to see how much energy I have. How much help I have. Tucker helps me sometimes, but he is not obligated to do so, so he only does what he can handle and what he can handle easily. Whereas I kind of have to do what needs to be done. It's a pile of firewood. Needs to get cut up this summer. I burned in my fireplace this winter. And I was wanting to make kind of a fence across here so pigs couldn't get into the firewood, but I think it'll be okay, especially if they're only here for a little while. And if they tear down the grass in here, it's still early enough that I can put a good cover crop, green manure crop in there. And it'll be good for the soil. I would eventually like to get, I don't know, something growing up here. I've been thinking about orchard. I've been thinking about putting the field crops up here later on. We'll see. Oh. I have a couple spare boars right now. And as with a lot of male animals, if you have too many males, they don't get along. It's a problem. Okay, well, so I guess I'll be putting up electric and some wire fencing, and that's my weekend. I hope you all have a good weekend, folks. Stay out of the mud.